So the standard module comes in a pack of 3. So in there you get 3 module bases and a little sheet with the feet and a jig for positioning the feet as well. So all we need to do is, I'll just use the back of this because I haven't got a cutting board here. All we need to do is with a craft knife just cut through the tabs, releasing each piece from the sheet. Now this jig, we just glue these 2 pieces back to back, and that's a nice handy little jig for marking the position of the feet. Adhesive wise, we would recommend a good quality PVA adhesive. You can get specific glues for laser cut parts, or in this instance for speed I'm just going to use super glue. So we've got the jig, which as I mentioned earlier, we just glue the pieces back to back. Oops. So all we're going to do is cut the feet from the sheet and just cut through the tabs and release the feet from the piece. So all I'm going to do is just put a bit of adhesive on the back of the foot, push the jig onto the corner, and that's the foot in position. So we just repeat that for the other 5 feet around the module, and then once all 6 are in position, that's everything that you need to build the basic modules. It's very, very simple. So this is the embankment module. So in here you get a sheet of parts, which is the straight option, the curved option, the supports and the feet, and your base piece. So again, like the standard module, we glue the feet to the underside, and then we cut all the pieces from the sheet. So again, it's just cutting through tabs to release the pieces from the sheet. So these are the supports. You've got 2 parts for each side. So that just goes into there like that, and then that assembly gets glued into position A. Get these 2 parts, which are identical, and then they go either into position B if you're having the straight track, or position C if you're having the curved track. And then the straight or curved piece just sits onto the top like that, and that's the assembly of the embankment module. So the double height module is slightly more involved, but it's still not overly complicated. We have a sheet of parts where you have the 6 feet, you have the foot jig as we did with the standard modules and the embankment module, and then these pieces which form the vertical supports for the upper level. So we then have 2 base pieces, one for the top and one for the bottom. These are identical and interchangeable, so you don't have to worry about which is which. So we just take one of these and turn it upside down. So this is going to be our top module. So what we need to do is cut all 12 of these pieces from the sheet, which I will do now. So now we've cut all these pieces from the sheet, we then need to glue these into position on the underside of the upper level. Now I would recommend for this, rather than using super glue, that you do use PVA adhesive, because that gives you a bit more time to get everything properly aligned. So all we do with this is we just put some PVA on these pieces. Align those like that, and then we need to repeat that process for the other 5. So there we have all 6 sets roughly in position, and then to make sure that they bond in exactly the right place so that everything lines up, we then take the bottom piece and we fit that onto the supports. Now this can be quite fiddly to get them all lined up to start with, but eventually with a bit of wiggling and persuading we can get all of those into position. Like that. So that will now hold all of these pieces in exactly the right position, so that when the adhesive dries, everything will be spot on. And then once that's done, we can add the feet in the 6 corners as we did with the other modules, and that's that module finished. And you will have the top section with the supports glued to it, and that will lift off from the bottom section